Hey YouTube, Repo Man 64. Whoa, I need a haircut. It's getting way too long. I had to get on here real quick um, and point something out. I made the statement that if God had switched to the Enoch timeline, just as in the days of Noah were, that things would start appearing on that timeline. And we know that on the Enoch timeline, beginning the year, when that star skirts across the horizon in Jerusalem, the fourth star of Pegasus, it happens every year on March 17th, marking the beginning, or March 16th, the next day being the first day of the year, March 17th, marking the beginning of the year every year. It never changes, and it doesn't care about the name of months or the name of days or the name of um, the planets. All those names are given to the days, months, and planets were pagan names, satanic names actually, and so we aren't going to pay attention to those. Now, in the comments, love the comments, by the way. You guys are really opening my eyes to a lot of things. But there was a comment that said, hey, when you're giving, like me, I know what Av is, I know what month it is, I know when it starts, but not everybody does. So I'm going to try to remember to tell you what month it relates to in our current time. Now, something exciting. Let me see, where's it at? It is right here. On July 18th, I don't know if the paper's been signed yet, but Biden went over there on the 14th. He spent 4 days over there. He wants a two-state solution for Israel. Now, when the Germans were the Holocaust for the Germans, when they were doing that to the Jews, they called it the final solution. If I were a Jew and somebody of authority came to me and says, hey, let's name it the two-state solution, anything with the name solution in it, I'd run from it. But they're embracing it. And so on the 18th, which is Av 2, which is Pentecost, you can't make this stuff up. I can't push the numbers. I can't change the dates. I have to count exact. I number my days exactly as it counts. And it lands on July 18th is when it happens. If it had been any other date, if it had happened September the 2nd, that would have been the fifth timeline. But it didn't. It happened on July 18th. The switch happened. Something happened because everything was happening on the on the fifth timeline for the longest time, and then out of nowhere, this event. And this is a world event. This is huge. Stephen Ben-Nun just made a video. Biden has COVID. Biden was instrumental in calling this the two-state solution and putting it together over there. This is not the covenant with many, but this is God's warning of splitting his land. This is God's land. These are God's people. You don't mess with them. The United States has enjoyed for quite some time prosperity because of protecting the Jewish nation. That's over. That's over because we're not doing that anymore. And so the United States is going to pay for that. Just like anyone, you love them, you do things for them, and then that one time you do something bad, does that not end the friendship and the love that you had because you can't believe they did that horrible thing? Doesn't matter. You can't do bad things. You can't go, well, I did a bunch of nice stuff in the past, but now one bad thing, you can't really count it against me. Yes, you can. It ends at that moment. So let me go back to the timeline. Pentecost is when Biden sets this up. Stephen Ben-Nun just now says that Biden's in a really bad spot. He has COVID, and he's in a really, really bad spot with it. And I just got over it myself. And I'll tell you what, I wouldn't wish that on Biden. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. It was rough. That hurt. And I'm in relatively good, or have been in relatively good health my whole life. I've had a few things which are bizarre, but I'm in relatively good health. So Biden is not. He's much older than I, and he's not in good health. And so I'm not, of course, I'm not stating I want anything to happen to Biden. I don't. But I made the statement that if God indeed had switched calendars, the next event, 7 days after Pentecost, exactly 7 days after Pentecost, is Tisha B'Av. Tisha B'Av is the 9th of Av. That's day 130 of the year when you count out your months properly. And when you count out your months, the month of Av is on our timeline after Moses got the law handed to him by God, and he said, this now is the head of your year. Our year begins on Nisan 1, and depending on, again, the calendars are 47 days apart, but it could either begin on March 17th all the way 47 days later on May 2nd, depending on which calendar we use. And that being said, Av 9, or the 9th of Av, Tisha B'Av, lands on July 25th. Is something major going to happen in the next 3 days to alert us, to show us? Because when that happened, I ran in here and made a video. I couldn't believe that it happened on July 18th. That just didn't make sense, because we were on timeline number 5, and I had given in to the fact that we were on a timeline I didn't like, but that we were going to watch. So let me go to the timeline and show it to you here. Remember now, the beginning of our year, according to the law that God passed down to Moses, the timeline number 1 is the equinox. This is the 4th star, Pegasus, that skirts across the horizon every year. Without doubt, it doesn't change, it doesn't move. Every single year it happens on March the 16th, and can be viewed from Jerusalem. And this is how, before Jesus came, this is how they knew what the first day of the year was. They looked for this event to take place, or the last day, as it were, March the 16th being the last day, March the 17th being the first day. That's the equinox. That's the one I follow. There is no event, nothing throughout the entire calendar that I can find that happens on the equinox. Nothing on the first sliver of the moon, which is what the Jews are using right now. If you want, you can go in and Google a date, and you will come close to. They move dates around so that events can land on a Saturday. They shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't have to move. I don't move anything. It doesn't matter to me where. I mean, it matters to me where it lands, but it doesn't matter to me what day it lands on, because it's never going to match no matter what. It'll only match once every 17 or 19 years, I think it is. So anyway, the first sliver of the moon after the equinox, that's what the Jews are using. They're calling the first day of the year April 1st. It was actually April the 3rd when the sliver was spotted. But again, they moved it so that Passover would land on a Saturday. The Creator's calendar. Now, the equinox, the first sliver of the moon after the equinox, and the Creator's calendar. Those 3 calendars, not one single major event that I can find has landed on any of these dates as we go down. Now, the first sliver of the moon after the sun reaches Aries is mentioned in the Bible, and so it stuck to that one for quite a while. All these events, you can come up here, the solar eclipse, and then 15 days later we had the blood moon, which landed perfectly on Nisan 14, which was May 16th. Now, the Jews were calling Passover on the 14th, May the 14th, because they wanted it to be on a Saturday. And so they moved it 2 days earlier, but no. Passover, the blood moon, was May 16th. And then 15 days later, the stars fell. And then 15 days after that, second Passover lands perfectly here on second Passover, June 15th. We're using the timeline number 5. But then we go forward. We figure out that Shavuot is the 66th day of the year, Sivan 6, and July 7th is when I believe there was an event that happened on July 7th, but I don't recall what it was. I didn't write it down. But let me go over here to this. Whoops. Inside the box is Moses. The first day of the month, the first month of the year is Nisan. Outside of the box is Noah. The first month of the year, over to the right, is Tishri. The Jews, even though God handed the law down to the Jews and told them this will be the head of your year, they still changed their year in Tishri. They still do it. They never stop doing it, even though God told them. They pretty much disobeyed every bit of the law of God. And of course, we know the law to be Jesus, and once we're in Jesus, we are not under the law. We are under grace and salvation by Jesus Christ and Christ alone. So I put this in to the community page. I separated the two calendars. Last time I had them together, and we couldn't see it. It was blurry. So I got them separated here. There's two calendars I'll show you. Where are we at right now? Today's date is the 22nd. So it would be Av 6, July 22nd, Av 6. On Av 9, it will be July 25th. That's the 130th day of the year. The count is simple. Nisan has 30 days, Iyar has 30 days, and how do you say Sivan? Yeah, okay. Sivan has 31 days. Tammuz has 30, Av has 30, and Elul has 31. So it's not like when we were kids we were taught January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, and November. Every knuckle is a 31 day, and every in between the knuckle is a 30 day. That's how we were taught to count, or we would know if that month had 30 days in it or 31. That's not the same count that we're seeing here. It's 30, 30, 31, 30, 30, 31. And the reason this works this way is because our February only has 28 days. And there's 2 days you could take away 2 knuckles and put it into an indentation. It's the same period of time. Aside from the day at a time that we find in Tishri, it's the same exact amount of time. So when you're counting to Av 9, you would show Nisan is 30, Iyar is 30, Sivan is 31, and Tammuz as 30. And that adds up to what? 121. And the 9th day of Av would add up to 130. 130 days in. It's so simple. 130 days in from the beginning of the year, and then, of course, we have our 5 calendars. And I've given all 5 even though I like calendar number 1, I've given all 5 calendars intentionally so that we can see them all and put them together and look to see if an event lands on these. There is no, I wish it would land on this day, or I want it to land. There is none of that. The 130th day from March 17th is the date that's under it on line 1. From the equinox, 130 days later, is the date that you'll find down the line. Again, the sliver of the moon after the equinox, April 3rd, add 130 days to it. You add 130 days to that, and you will come up with August the 11th. That's what the numbers are to the right, and then below are the numbers of the 5 different calendars that I found. I cannot find another viable calendar that will work, that makes any sense. I cannot go, and there is another one. There is another one, but and I'm not saying it's not possible, but it's impossible to literally put it on this timeline, because it starts its month every month on the first sliver of the moon after the sun has reached a constellation. And I get it. I know why they're doing it. But the problem is, you wind up, when you do that, you wind up with 354 days a year, because the moon travels around our Earth 12 times at, I think it's 29 or 29 and a half days, and it winds up to be 354. So we're 10 days, 11 days too short. Anyway, I got on here real quick because I heard about Biden. Not saying I'm excited. Obviously, no one should be ever wishing any ill on anyone. What king was that where it was David and the king was Saul? It was Saul. And Saul was after him to kill him, but he gave strict orders that no one is to harm Saul, even though Saul was after David to kill him. And it would benefit him if Saul had died. He gave strict orders that nobody harm Saul. And when a messenger came back and he had seen Saul fall on his own sword, he was prideful and he took credit for it. He says, "Oh, yeah, I stabbed Saul." So David says, "Oh, you did? You stabbed a guy like Saul. You, a guy like you, stabbed a warrior like Saul and killed him. Okay, then we'll kill you." And they killed that messenger for his lie. And so we don't ever, and I never will, wish anything on anyone. I don't care how bad they are. God forgives, and God judges, not me. Anyway, so to clarify that, I'm not looking forward to anything happening to Biden. However, it lines up too well on, let me go back to the timeline. It lines up too well that on July the 18th, the two-state solution was recognized. We all got the news about it. That was off to 7 days, and that was Pentecost up there at the top. Now we find out 3 days from July 25th, which is Tisha B'Av, where everyone went into their graves, and about 5,000 were dead by morning. They just simply covered them up. July 25th, if this calendar, like I said in my last video, if this calendar is in place, something major will happen. We will get some news on July 25th or 24th. Now, let me show you something else that's confirming this. Let me see if I can get to it. So you'll see two timelines up there. This timeline is for Noah. It starts the year off on Tishri 1 and does all the math all the way through. And of course, when we go on through the 7th month and the 17th day of the month is when, I'm sorry, the 150th day is when the cross is, and then the 7th month and 17th day, even though it's Nisan, that is actually the 7th month in Noah's time, the ark rested. We rest in Christ. The ark, I was just shocked when I put this onto, when I started putting from back and forth between two timelines. I need to write up here the cross is 150 days, but it's just amazing. You can't, you count 150 days. You can go in and do it yourself. Anybody can go in there and do it from on Noah's timeline, Tishri 1, and just add 150 days and see where you land. You're going to land right here on Nisan 14, the 7th month and the 14th. Well, 150 days will land on 7th month and 14th day. The 7th month and 17th day is when the ark rested. So that right there in and of it. So let me show you something else here. I also wanted to point this out. I found this. We were talking about this in a little chat group we have with Wackadoodle Samoan, Will over at Worship and Watch, and Kevin from Spinebreaker, and there's one more. Oh, Tony from the Cataclysm, Tony Early. We're all in there, and we toss ideas around and talk about things. But look at this. World War II, invading Poland in September of 19. A lot of stuff happens in September. Lots of stuff happens in September. Wackadoodle Simone pointed this out to me, that on 9/29, the sun is in Virgo. She's clothed with the sun, and the moon is at her feet, and you can see that is the first sliver of the moon at her feet. Okay, you've got to go watch. This is Glass Darkly Ministries. You have to go watch this video. You need to go to subscribe to her and like this video. She literally wrote this 22 years ago when she was a kid. And she wrote a dream down that she had when she was a kid. She was not in the Bible whatsoever. And she writes this out, and 22 years later, this is like the most amazing thing I've heard. I was listening to her video. I was like, what? And then I spoke to her in the Discord, and she was like, yeah, I just decided something made her go. I don't know if it was up in her attic or where it was, but something made her go get this, and she'll read it to you, and your mind will explode. What she wrote as a non-believer, I think teenager is what she was. I'm not 100% sure, but it was 22 years ago, a non-believer, and now she's reading it, and I am telling you, it will blow your mind. Go to Glass Darkly Ministries and subscribe to her channel and like her. Remember to like the videos after you subscribe. That gets this needs to get out to everybody. This right here needs to get out to the saints of the tribulation after we're gone. And I think the best way, a lot of people that, of course, most people don't have a YouTube. They watch YouTube, but they don't have YouTube. The best way to do that is to like, share, and subscribe to these types of channels so that some of us are going to make it through the tribulation, and we can help with what we teach for them to understand when their day is coming. So go watch that. That'll blow your mind right there. What is this? This was Ecro Symphony's video. Oh, look at her subscribers. They're coming up quick. That's good. She makes very good videos. I love watching her videos. What she did was she went from, you got to go watch her video because I don't recall exactly how she got to it, but she did the 150 days as well. And it came from, I think it was February the 24th. What happened on February the 24th? What did she say happened? I don't remember what happened. She's going to kill me, but I don't recall. But you need to go here, like, comment, and subscribe to Ecro Symphony's YouTube and watch this. And she will explain to you, it's the Ukrainian-Russian conflict. No, is that it? Link between days of Noah and the Ukrainian Russia. I think is that when the Ukraine got invaded by Russia on the 24th of February? You count 150 days forward, and like I said before, I think some huge event is going to happen on July 24th, 25th, and she came up with July 24th, 25th as well. It says 4 hours ago, but this is from I think yesterday, the day before, because I just took a snapshot of it so I could remember to talk to you about it. Anyway, let me go on to the next. Ricardo Garcia, his channel should literally have 20,000 subscribers. He gives some really good information. Go in there and watch this. He does a lot of hard work, and he's got the computer skills that I don't to make this kind of stuff. Actually, pretty much everyone has computer skills except for me. So go watch Ricardo Garcia, and again, like his videos and subscribe, and hopefully some of these will make it through the rapture, which is about to happen. It's about to happen. The Tu B'Av is a wedding celebration where that's when most of the, I think the virgins are out in the field or something, and they go out and find them a wife. I think was the custom back then. It wouldn't work today, not here. So anyway, that's Tu B'Av. And from what I can tell, if anything major happens on the 24th or 25th, then we will be looking at Tu B'Av for a date that we leave. If anything major happens on the 24th, 25th, 7 days later is the 15th of Av, Tu B'Av. There are 7 days from Pentecost to Tisha B'Av. July 18th, they signed a two-state solution. Something major is going to happen on July 24th, 25th. Independently, Ecro Symphony found the same date in another way that she did when she did her research, and she thinks also something significant will happen on the 24th, 25th. And then 7 days later from there, it's Tu B'Av, and it is Choose Your Bride. And that would be a wonderful rapture scenario at that point. So if I'm not presenting this properly with the dates, just let me know in the comment section. Help me try to figure this out. Go into the community. You can do that on your phone. Go to my YouTube, and at the top, there's a little thing. You can scroll down and find community and click on it. You can come look at these timelines. You can use these timelines. You can critique these timelines and say, no, the 150th day from the beginning of the year is not, or the 130th day from the beginning of the year is not Tisha B'Av, and here's why. Although I can't imagine, I don't know how it's not the 130th day. I mean, when you count the months the way you're supposed to number our days. But go to a quiet place by yourself. Nobody needs to know, and you don't need to tell anybody. And accept the Lord into your heart. We're out of time. I'm going to keep saying that, but we are. When you look at 6,000 years, a couple of weeks, a couple of months is a drop in the bucket. We are out of time. Even a couple of years is a drop in the bucket. No, I don't think I think 2022 is the year. I can't see it happen in 2023. And I think that we're right up against it, like it could happen any moment. There are no signs that need to be given. However, on the road to Damascus, Saul was blinded for 3 days, brought into Damascus, where they renamed him Paul, and he could see after 3 days. So there was a 3-day warning for him. There was a 7-day warning for Noah to get on the ark. And the reason was because Methuselah did not want to be counted amongst the wicked. I'm going to have another video. I have a lot of, I read, as you know, I read the Legends of the Jews. You should read that. It's a good read. It is not a salvational issue. It will not save you to read it. It will not save you to know the information. And this timeline will not save you. Knowing the date does not save us. Watching and trying to figure it out makes you a bride. Jesus Christ is the only thing that will save you. Nothing else. In the universe, when you come broken to the foot of that cross and you have nothing, and I mean nothing, well, I did this and I did nothing. You have nothing to offer, and you recognize if not for Him, if not for Jesus Christ, you will not go. When you come to that realization, that is salvation. When you come to that realization, that is salvation. So, like, comment, and share, and subscribe to mine as well. And anytime I find a YouTube channel that we're not right, we're not perfect, we're just trying to figure it out. But when they have the message that I look for in every single that I subscribe to, not I'm the greatest, and if you don't believe in my timeline, you're not going. None of that. When their base message is simple, none of this matters. Only Jesus does, and you come broken, naked, contrite to the foot of the cross, knowing that there's nothing you can do to save yourself. You didn't do. I don't care how many wonderful things you've done. I don't care what you did. You can never. No one will ever be able to show up in heaven and say, well, I did this, and that's what. No, there is no boasting. Jesus, our God, receives all the credit. Our Creator. I can't even wrap my mind around an almighty God sitting in heaven in His rightful place, coming down here in flesh and dying for our sins. I can't wrap my mind around why, but He did, and that's where salvation lies. Salvation lies in the recognition of the Word of God. So anyway, I guess I'm done. We'll chat with you all later.